Monichrome, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Back for another season?
I sure am. Do we have video?
I don't think so yet.
Okay.
This is the first demo jam I've seen in a long time in Toronto Roller Derby. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're just doing this as a season opener treat, or
maybe.
if this is going to be a regular occurrence.
All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone, to this secret special boutcast of Toronto Roller Derby's 2014 House League season on the Derby Nerd with Monichrome on the mic.
Here I am.
Here
you are.
Yeah, here you are. If you found it, congratulations. This is a secret boutcast. We are testing the systems. We plan on having a very big season here in Toronto Roller Derby with our travel team, CN Power, playing in Division 1. You will get to see a lot of CN Power Boatcast on this very station. If you're watching on layer9.ca or on Tord TV's page on YouTube, again, congratulations on finding your way here. We do excuse any Boutcast sort of any unrefined bits throughout the night because, as I said, we're testing all of our systems here, testing all our cameras, making sure everything's a go. This is the 2014 home opener for Toronto Roller Derby. It's going to be contested between two of the great teams in the early history of Tord, the Gore RollerGirls in the leopard print. They are on the track right now, and the Chicks Ahoy. Both teams are three-time Toronto Roller Derby champions.
Looking at this roster that's coming up, we are seeing two very different Gores and Chicks rosters here than we've seen before, which is very exciting. I think that we're finally getting to a point in Tord's history where it is anyone's game, and that's not said in a cliche sort of way, but it's actually a bit of truth there.
Yeah, I think you're right, although I guess if you talk to the Gore RollerGirls, they'll tell you that this year it's their game. Last year was the first time in league history, the 7-year history of Toronto Roller Derby, that the Gore RollerGirls did not qualify for the Battle for the Boot, the championship game. So they're looking to return this year. Here is your roster for tonight's game for the Gore RollerGirls. Back for another season in the leopard print, number 111, the captain, Santa Muerta. Number 13 is a rookie to the team this year, Lumberjack Flash. Number 1485 in her second year, Victory Lap. Number 25, Victory Lap in her third year. Number 25, second-year skater Lexicon, last year's Rookie of the Year. Number 300 back for another season is Gamma Ray. Number 4, Tyrannosaurus Rex, also a second-year Gore. Number 422, Beaver Mansbridge. Number 44, Miss Kitty Lepeur, a vet who was injured quite a bit in the 2013 season. Number 467, R.I. Pink, back for another year. Number 52, second-year skater Full Deck. Number 60 is Chronic, a long-time Gore now. Number 747, a transfer from Halifax Roller Derby Association, Machu Picchu, making her debut tonight. Finally, number 8, Candy Bar, a long-time veteran of roller derby in Canada, period. And finally, A535, a transfer from Vancouver's Terminal City, Guardian Pangel, rounds out your roster. Francesca Fury, number 212, and number 2627, Purple Pain, are your alternates. On the bench tonight is Emma Dilemma, as she works her way back from injury, and, of course, the bench coach for the Gore RollerGirls, Ott Carl. That's your 2014 Gore RollerGirls.
And very soon here, we're seeing the Chicks Ahoy take the track for their announcements. That's number 7, Rebel Rocket, back in green after a few years on CN Power. Number 1017, Big Lee Smalls, Bruiser, as well as a Chicks Ahoy. Number 15, Rosemary's Rabies. Number 1891, Tess d'Urberville. Number 1977, R2 Smack You. Number 21, a transfer skater. This is her first year as Chicks Ahoy. That's Sneaky D. Number 54A, that's Robert Blind. She is the captain for Chicks Ahoy and also a bruiser. Number 5, BY5, is Joss Whelan, coming back for another round around the track with the Chicks. Number 613, Machete Maiden, new to the Chicks Ahoy. Number 65, Hoff, who is off on an injury, is back on the track for the Chicks. Number 7, Chevy Chase Her. Number 713 is Heine
Aina Coffin Cat.
Coffin Cat. She's new to the Chicks Ahoy. Number DOA, M Raged, coming back for, I believe this is her second year as the Chick. And number K1, Heavy Knitter. She is new to the Chicks Ahoy roster. Alternates for the Chicks Ahoy are number 33, Wheels of Misfortune, and number 818, Doris Doomsday. On the bench, working with the Chicks, that looks like L7 Tara Part. She is a former Chicks Ahoy. She is now skating for CN Power. And help me out there, nerd. Who was joining her on the bench?
Refin Adorabel, the new bench manager for Chicks Ahoy this season, a former referee known around Southern Ontario, not just here in Torrid. She's refereed probably for every league in Ontario, actually, if not beyond. But she's due to injuries, believe it or not, referees also need to be on skates, and due to injury, she's unable to skate, so she's decided to join the bench of the Chicks Ahoy, which is very exciting.
That is very exciting.
Yeah, retired refs coming onto the bench. It's a good idea.
It's a great idea. Who else knows the game better than the refs?
Exactly. And Tara Part did run the bench last year, of course, for the Chicks as well. She is one of the co-captains of the CN Power, Toronto's all-star travel team, currently ranked 29th in the WFTDA. So this is a pretty exciting game. These two teams have faced off 6 times in regular season history. The Gores have a decided advantage, 5-1 lifetime, including last year, a 323-75 victory. The biggest victory for the Gores over the Chicks. Biggest victory for any team over the Chicks ever. The Chicks, though, do have a playoff advantage, 3-2 when it matters most. The Chicks did not qualify for the playoffs in 2013. All right, looks like we are about to get underway. As you mentioned, as we both mentioned, there are a lot of rookies on these two rosters, but there are definitely a core at the heart of it. And for the Chicks Ahoy, having Hoff and Rebel Rocket back on the bench, that's got to do a lot for this team. You've played against both of these skaters. They bring a lot of leadership to the track. Do you think that's going to help bolster this Chicks team, which looked very young last year?
Yes, and I think that having that wisdom on the track, especially both, I believe, are going to be in a pivot position, that's really going to help.
Here's the national anthem. Was Chronic with the national anthem number 60 on the Gore RollerGirls. A veteran and a member of the Bay Street Bruisers. If you're new to Toronto Roller Derby has 4 house league teams. You're seeing 2 of them on the track right now. The Chicks Ahoy, Gore RollerGirls, Death Track Dolls, and the Smoke City Betties. The Bay Street Bruisers made up of skaters from the 4 house league teams, and they, of course, feed into CN Power, the charter team and WFTDA competitors in Division 1. All right, here we are, Chrome. 8th season of Toronto Roller Derby about to get underway.
I have goosebumps. I can't tell if it's because it's -20 out or if it's or I'm just very excited.
And it's warm today.
I know. I know. Sorry, it was -7 today.
Yeah.
I was being a little dramatic with the wind chill factor.
And here we are, underway, the 8th season in Toronto Roller Derby history. Underway with Lumberjack Flash jamming, the rookie for the Gore RollerGirls. Out there against Chevy Chaser in her second year, injured most of last season, though, with the Chicks. Didn't get a lot of late season action in. And Lumberjack Flash is your first lead jammer, going to the rookie from the Gore RollerGirls.
Chevy Chaser is still stuck in that pack behind the Gore's wall. She looks like she's getting hammered by Who is that? Santa Muerta. And Lumberjack Flash makes it around for her first natural Grand Slam.
Wow, big start for the Gores here. Heavy defense being led, as you said, by Santa Muerta, longtime member of CN Power as well, Toronto's top team, leading Lexicon, it looks like, in the track right now. And victory lap and full deck. And finally, one-on-one now, Lexicon and Chevy Chaser, two teammates on the Bay Street Bruisers. Chevy Chaser finally through, but Lumberjack Flash on her second scoring pass.
Nice hit by M. Rage. Knocks her out. She does call it off, picking up one extra point there. And that's Gores with 6 points. Chicks didn't have an opportunity to catch any.
No, nice job by M. Rage, though, on that second pass to make sure that it wasn't as easy as the first pass. M. Rage in her second year. She could be a big player for the Chicks this year. On the track, R.I. Pink had a breakthrough season for the Gores last night with a lot more responsibility with the star. She is against Sneaky D, highly touted prospect, was dominant at times for the Divas last year. That is the Toronto House League farm team. She is fast. Having a hard time, though, with the back wall. Veteran Hoff, number 65, coming through to break it up, but at the front of the pack, it's R.I. Pink. Fourth-year skater already through. Lead jammer, second in a row, going to the Gores.
And Sneaky D is out of the pack. Looks like she's gaining on R.I. Pink pretty fast. She is wasting no time. R.I. Pink just coming to the back of the pack, and she's met by a pack of Gores. It's going to have a hard time keeping this pack fast to prevent any points.
Sneaky D sneaks in, steals two, and this is going to be a story to watch this season for the Chicks Ahoy. If she isn't already, she is very quickly on her way to becoming the fastest skater in this league. Unbelievable speed, as you see right there.
Yep.
Incredible. 7-2 then is the score. 2 jams in, 2.5 into the first half of this first game of the Toronto Roller Derby's 2014 House League season. Still 5-on-5 on the track. No penalties being called yet. It looks like that is Hyena Coffin Cat, another rookie on the jam line. We've seen a lot of rookies with the star tonight for the Chicks Ahoy, but at the front of the pack, Lexicon being called off for a cut before she managed to get through. Power jam, Chicks.
Oh, Rebel stopping that pass back. Heine trying to get her way through a broken up Gore's wall there, and she does. She is out of the pack and ready for a scoring pass. Looks like another Gore is in the pack or in the box. That's Chronic sitting this one out. Huge hit by Full Deck. Trying to mitigate the damage there.
Now, Hyena, she may be a rookie here, but she did complete a full season in Vancouver's Terminal City RollerGirls House Team League, so she is an experienced skater. And she's already picked up 5 on this Grand Slam to tie up the score. On this Power Jam, sorry.
Yeah.
No lead, so this will be a 2-minute jam.
Oh, and we have a third Gore blocker going to the box. That's Full Deck. She's probably going to be sent out unless someone is standing.
Penalty troubles early on, allowing Chicks Ahoy to get back in this game, and they have taken the lead. And Santa Muerta now heading off to the box as well. More penalty trouble. We are playing, of course, under the WFTDA rule set. So Santa Muerta will be waved back to the track as her box is full.
Nice hit by Joss Whelan, throwing Lexicon back on her first pass. But she sneaks on that inside line. She is now in a scoring position. Heine coming for a few more points there before she calls it off.
Calls it off just in time. And no points being called. Rebel Rocket talking to the refs. Nice first jam for Hyena Coffin Cat of the Chicks Ahoy.
Nice pickup by the Chicks. They're sitting with 22 points against Gore's original 7.
20 points on that power jam. Wow, what a way to kick things off. Looks like we're going to have an official review being called. That was the story, I guess, of the entry draft this year was the level of skill and the level of experience, especially involved in this draft. You're always seeing skaters like Lumberjack Flash, Hyena Coffin Cat in their first games here in Tord being thrown into very important positions with the star and looking just very comfortable, to be honest. They don't look out of place at all. It's a packed house here in the bunker. If you happen to be watching in Toronto or the GTA, you've got to get yourself down here to catch a game. A near sellout tonight. If not, they're actually setting up extra bleachers behind us as we speak for the number of people who are crammed into the bunker for this opening game of the 2014 season. All right, looks like everything has been sorted out. We're back underway.
No change to the scoreboard there.
Heavy Knitter now in her second year jamming. Well, I didn't jam much last year for Chicks, but in the second year with the team out against Tyrannosaurus Rex. And it's Heavy Knitter on the outside is your lead jammer. Tyrannosaurus Rex in her second year with Tord. She is an experienced skater. Also played with the Bay Street Bruisers last year. Nice juke to the outside to get her way through past that front Chicks line. She's got a full track to make up. Heavy Knitter running into Candy Bar. R2 Smacky with a nice block, offensive block to open up the lane. Heavy Knitter picks up 4 and calls it off. 2 points, though, stolen again. And maybe early in the season we're going to see little mistakes like that, stolen points here and there.
Yep.
26-9 now is the score. That was the first lead of the game for Chicks Ahoy. And Lumberjack Flash back out to jam for the Gores against Chevy Chaser for the Chicks in green. 3-3 in the pack. Lumberjack Flash on the outside snuck through. It looked like Chevy Chaser was about to take lead, but nice blocking from a victory lap and full deck stopped that from happening.
Chevy is out of the pack, however. She did come up against 3 Gores and made it out. There's a huge Gore wall at the back. Looks like the Chicks are going to keep this pack moving fast. Lumberjack trying to figure out what to do next, and she finally calls it.
She did pick up 2 points for Lumberjack Flash to get the Gores back on the board now, 26-11. Nice start to this game for Chicks Ahoy. As we say, they had a bit of a rebuilding year last year. So this is a great start for them. Bigley Smalls out there, number 10-17 in the green. She's out there matching up against Machu Picchu, another important prospect in Toronto Roller Derby this year, transferred from Halifax Roller Derby. Out there for the Gores. Both jammers trying to work their way through in the inside. R.I. Pink having some trouble with this Test Derby Evil.
And it looks like the Chicks are out in front.
Sneaky D picks up her first lead jam of the game and of her Tord career so far.
All right, Pink has 1 to beat and now 2 to beat.
2 veteran blockers, Test Derby Evil, and Bigley Smalls a little late in returning to the pack. She's been sent to the penalty box. Sneaky D coming through on her scoring pass, trying to get by Santa Muerte on the outside and forced to call it off. 2 points. Once again, is that 2 points stolen for the Gores?
Yep. And that was only 3 for the Chicks. Again, that sort of rookie mentality. You've got to call it off sooner and, take the 2 that you've got and know where that other jammer is. It's going to take a couple games or at least a couple more jams to figure that one out.
Yeah, and these teams, of course, just getting to know each other, too. They not a huge turnover for either team. 4 new Chicks on the roster this year and just 5 for the Gores. So very consistent from year to year, which bodes well. It looks like an official review perhaps being called by the Gores bench. I gotta guess because Santa was kind of chatting with the refs on her way off the track that she believes that Sneaky D actually cut while she was calling it off. Question might be, was the 4th whistle blown before she came back on the track in front of Santa? We should take a moment to talk about our ref crew. This is, of course, playing under the WFTDA rule set. 7 referees in this one. Got some visiting refs, too, here tonight, including a head ref from Hammer City, Deuce Willis. We also have Anaphylactic, Jet Boy, My Ref Nut, Samiracle, Penny Whistler, and Parking Lot is your ref crew for this bout. Pretty experienced crew. And they are discussing that call. It looks like it's going to be 3-3 when we get back underway. Lexicon out there to jam for the Gores against Hyena Coffin Cats, or Heine. 29-13 is the score, 8 minutes in. Again, you are watching a Toronto Roller Derby Tord TV preseason test bout. Congratulations for finding this secret stream. I did hear some rumors that some people from Halifax might be tuning in, though, tonight.
Ooh.
For Machu Picchu's big time Tord debut.
And if so, hello. Welcome to the Secret Tord feed.
Yeah. You can tune in to this page throughout the year for non-Secret Tord podcasts as well. So nothing's going to change. Hyena Coffin Cat still on the line for Chicks Ahoy out there against last year's Rookie of the Year, Lexicon, the first rookie ever to lead the league with in the jammer quotient. She was the highest rated jammer.
Oh, great little skip and a jump through that outside line. Tough line to catch. Lexicon hot on her heels. She was trying for the same position. And it looks like one of them's being called off.
So Hyena Coffin Cat, who came out as thought she was your lead jammer, is being sent off for a cut. So power jam now for Lexicon, and I believe that she is actually the lead jammer then.
She is now. Yes, she is.
So that breaks a string of 3 leads in a row for the Chicks Ahoy. And now Lexicon, the skater they want out there on this power jam.
Amazing defense there by Chronic. She just pushed the 2 Chicks blockers out of the way for her jammer. Looks like she's going to try to do it again. She's got her eyes set on 0-7. That's Rebel Rocket. Hoping to pick her off.
Oh, nice little move by Lexicon to get by Rosemary's Rabies at the front of the pack. Only 2 Chicks blockers out there. The very experienced Rebel Rocket, second-year chick, Rosemary's Rabies. Bigley Smalls now back on the track, the pivot. It's Chronic with the stripe leading this power jam. Machu Picchu trying to knock Rosemary's Rabies out. She does drag her back. Gores now have the pack at the back, and that will force Rebel and Bigley to wait and hold up. Machu Picchu with some nice work. One-on-one right now against Rosemary's Rabies as Lexicon comes around to score on another pass.
Joss Whelan joining the pack for the Chicks. Trying to add a little strength just as Heine rejoins.
Bigley Smalls with a big hit and now dragging Lexicon all the way back. Those 2 skaters also teammates on the Bay Street Bruisers, so they know each other well. And Lexicon going to try and pick up a few more points and call it off. 4 points picked up on that one. And the Gore RollerGirls back in the lead. 24-point jam. We've had big jams tonight. 20.1 earlier from Hyena Coffin Cat. Now Lexicon responds with 24 of her own. So mentioning earlier, Lexicon had a massive year last year, including leading the league in many statistical categories. I think she finished first or second in pretty much every major jamming category. Yeah, 228 points, 6 points per jam, and a 76% lead percentage last season. So
amazing.
Amazing numbers, especially for a rookie.
Definitely a skater to watch.
Looks like Beaver Mansbridge is going to be out there for her first jam with the Gore RollerGirls. She was kind of used in every situation last year for the girls, the Gores, and Heavy Knitter K1 back out for Chicks Ahoy.
The Goyles.
The Goyles. Refs are conferring. This is another. This is an officials review. The officials get as many timeouts as they want. Each team gets 3 per half and 1 official review per half. They're done talking. We're underway. 4-3 pack advantage for the Gores.
Oh, and Beaver just hitting this wall hard. Both walls super strong, but Beaver is the first one almost out.
Nice work from R2 Smack You and Bigley Smalls. Trying to hold her back, though. Beaver breaks through that wall on turn number 2. She's your lead jammer. Second lead in a row for the Gores.
Yep, Chicks got 2 in the box in that wall at the front, so they are now short.
Very experienced Gores line out there. Candy Bar and Santa Muerta going at Heavy Knitter. Nice offensive blocking from Bigley Smalls.
And Beaver just hop skipping through while the Gores just focus on holding those Chicks back.
Real nice quick transition for the Gores from offense to defense on that one. Not letting the jammer through, but getting theirs out. Santa Muerta taking out Heavy Knitter on turn number 3 as sneaking through on the inside, almost making it through, but Hoff with a big hit. Takes Beaver down, and Hoff is headed to the penalty box for that. Hoff missed the whole season last year after hip surgery, so it's great to see her back on the track. Back to her old ways, laying big hits. Oh, and it looks like Bigley Smalls trying for the jammer pass. There was an illegal pass. She is getting a penalty for a low block, and she's a little...
Not quite sure what's happening.
No, there's definitely some confusion.
Bigley can't pass because she's not in game.
No, I see what happened. The penalty was not actually on Bigley. The penalty was on their jammer, which meant that the jammer attempted the pass after she'd already picked up a penalty, and that caused the confusion and why Bigley Smalls thought she was being sent to the penalty box. I'm going to predict an official review.
And your prediction was right on.
When it's all said and done, though, 52-29 is the score. Big swings and momentum is the story early on here. Just over 12 minutes into the first half. Gore RollerGirls retook the lead with a 24-point jam, and they've added to that with another 15-pointer to build their lead, 52-29. Looks like Enraged and Rebel Rocket going to be the only chicks on the track as their penalty box is full of blockers. Chevy Chaser number 7. Hey, you may notice, actually, Rebel Rocket, for the first time in her career, skating under a different number, 0-7, and that is because as she was skating for CN Power, Chevy Chaser joined this team under her old number 7. There's going to be 3 Gores on the track, Guardian Pangel, Machu Picchu, and Gamma Ray. Guardian Pangel, another Vancouver transfer. We've got transfers from C to C with Machu Picchu and Guardian Pangel on the track right now. R.I. Pink will be with the star for the Gores. And yep, we are going to see Heavy Knitter in the penalty box, so there will not be a Chicks Jammer to start this one off. Power start for the Gore RollerGirls. And R.I. Pink is going to be all alone out there once things get started. Big advantage for the Gores to pull ahead here.
Although with this timeout gives the Chicks some time to put a pretty heavy line out there. We've got Bigley and Rebel and Enraged.
Yes. Going with experience
and strength.
And strength. Yes.
Wise move.
R.I. Pink, I mentioned as we were announcing her that she's a skater who's had 3 different names in her 4 seasons in Toronto Roller Derby. Had a breakout season, though, last year. Scored 85 points for the Gores, 3.5 points per jam at a very, very, more than respectable 62% lead percentage. And it was her biggest workload of her career. Of course, she was always behind, beginning of her career, behind Bambi, Dust Bunny, and Lunchbox. And then, of course, behind Dust Bunny and Bambi for the rest of the time. So last year was the first chance she had to really kind of step up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she did very well.
Both T-Rex and Lexicon have very similar stories as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. They were both rookies in Tord, though. Lexicon had skated for quite a while with the Divas, had a long apprenticeship that obviously served her well. She was more than ready when she got here. And Tyrannosaurus Rex had already completed 2 seasons with the nearby GTA RollerGirls before transferring to Tord. And so both of them really stepped up last year. Lexicon ended up winning Rookie of the Year. Tyrannosaurus Rex, 157 points in her first year with the league, 4.6 points per jam and a 59% lead percentage.
And that's just in her home team stats,
That's
correct?
Just her home team stats, yeah. She also played for the Bay Street Bruisers last year. People often compare her to Bambi, another legendary Gore Roller Girl. And I can see those comparisons. Also had a change to the Gores roster lineup when they realized they were on a power jam. They're also going with experienced Chronic, taking the stripe to lead this power start. Big opportunity, as we mentioned, for the Gore RollerGirls. A nice little fake. And they're going to play passive and let R.I. Pink take on this line. Now, this is a scary line to take on if you're a lone jammer, but R.I. Pink doing a nice job of juking them apart. Finally, Bigley Smalls with a big hit. Chronic doing a nice job of holding Bigley Smalls at the front of the pack. R.I. Pink, though, can't get in. M-Rage putting her right back out. Now Rebel Rocket to beat around turn number 1. Slips through on the outside. Beats Bigley Smalls.
Just barely.
Nice job from R.I. Pink.
It's like that's M-Rage heading to the penalty box.
3 lead jammers in a row now for the Gores as R.I. Pink coming around to score on this power jam. Chronic doing a nice job of holding Rebel back, but Rebel able to knock out R.I. Pink. Machu Picchu holding Rebel at the back of the pack, trying to drag her back. Rebel getting called for the cut. Oh, no, sorry, it was a no pass, no penalty. Machu must have stepped out.
Yep.
Full deck back on the track, a full pack for the Gores. Heavy Knitter.
Yep,
back
Heavy
on as
Knitter
well.
back on with Hoff.
Oh, and Rebel Rocket being sent right off. Oh, and an extra minute being assessed to Rebel Rocket. 1 for the penalty, 2 for talking back, getting an insubordination call from Penny Whistler, the veteran referee in the middle. So Rebel Rocket going to have to watch it.
Nothing worse than a smack talk minute.
So 2 minutes in the box now, and it looks like the Chicks Ahoy are going to call their first timeout of this game. Probably well-timed timeout, down 57-29. They once led by as much as 15 points, and they've seen that lead evaporate.
Still within reach.
Oh, definitely.
Just needing that little zen moment to reassess what's happening, maybe take a look at the lines and mix things up.
And
it's very easy to get in a pattern, especially when you have sort of 3 or 4 key jammers, and it seems that both teams have that same sort of rotation where they're putting out the same 3 or 4 jammers. So even just switching that little rhythm together can make a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. Chicks, and you can see they're talking, huddled over now on the bench, listening to tear apart. First time these two teams met was way back in 2007, the Toronto Roller Derby's first season, but they didn't meet during the regular season. It was a 16 league back then. They didn't meet till the championship game, and the Gores won that 89-53. They didn't actually meet in the regular season until 2008, and the Gores took that one as well. So long history between these two teams. They've met in 5 championship games out of the 7 that have occurred. All right, back underway after that team timeout. The Chicks reeling a bit, going to try and come back. Chevy Chaser jamming against Tyrannosaurus Rex. T-Rex through first, taking on a front 2 wall. Machete Maiden and Rosemary's Rabies can't hold her back. T-Rex is your lead jammer.
Oh, and the pack goes down. 613 is called out for the Chicks. That's Machete. Yep.
And Guardian Pangel also sent off for the Gores. Wow, penalties galore. Rosemary Rabies out, and T-Rex, a nice little apex jump, picks up the points. 4 on the board for the Gores. Nice, efficient jam from Tyrannosaurus Rex. 61-29 is your score. 2 rookies out there on the jam line now. Sneaky D for the Chicks against Lumberjack Flash for the Gore RollerGirls. These two were the key to the Divas offense last season, a very successful Divas season. Now enemies on the track.
Both very fast. And Sneaky D hitting Lumberjack out on that outside line.
Lumberjack being held nicely by Robert Blind, the veteran and captain of Chicks Ahoy, but eventually works her way through. Lead jammer going to LBJ, but look at this, how quickly Sneaky D through the pack and making up track, and Lumberjack Flash shaking her head. Yep. Knows she was going to be caught. No score on the board. Moral victory for the Chicks Ahoy on that one. Right back out now with Hyena Coffin Cat, called Heine by her teammates. The Torrid rookie is going to be facing off against one of the more experienced players in this game, Santa Muerta, the captain of the Gores. 3-2 pack advantage for the Gore RollerGirls. Candy Bar wearing the stripe for the leopard print. Robert Blind back on the track. And she gets hit hard by Santa right off the top, and it looks like Santa's going to go to the box. Back block right off the start.
And the Chicks are happy about that.
Hyena Coffin Cat scored 20 points in her last power jam. Let's see what she can do here. Oh, and a nice little move.
Chicks doing a beautiful textbook sweep, giving her all the space in the world to skate through freely. Looks like they're setting up again.
Robert Blind, a one-woman wrecking crew out there again, trying for the sweep, and it's Machu Picchu with a nice hit. She's going to be sent off for a forearm, though. Coffin Cat coming up to Beaver Mansbridge, gets through. Beaver's going to be sent off with a low block major as well. Hyena Coffin Cat finally able to make it through, picks up her 5 points, but that was a well-earned 5.
Absolutely. And almost strategic in picking off all that competition.
Drawing a couple penalties. Now coming up to Candy Bar, the pivot. Nice little hit out. Guardian Pangel with her as a 2-wall, but they out of play very quickly. Heine gets through, picks up 5 more, is going to call it off. So a 10-point pickup gets the Chicks right back in this one, 61-39.
Looks like they're going to start this with a Gore in the box. trying to take that extra little advantage, and that's Heavy Knitter jamming for the Chicks on this line.
So a power start for the Chicks. Looks like it's going to be Tess Derbyville and Bigley Smalls, two experienced skaters out there in the micro pack. Lumberjack Flash and Chronic, the skaters in the leopard print for the Gores. Looks like refs may need an official timeout here. Nope, they're all right. False alarm. Again, 2-2 on the pack. Tess Derbyville starting on the inside. The Gores happy to take the outsides now as both of them get away from the Chicks blockers. They're going to let Heavy Knitter go at it alone. She splits the two, gets through for lead jammer as Santa Muerta comes back on the track.
Santa makes it through. She is on a point scoring coming up, but Heavy Knitter approaching this pack. I suspect she's going to hit it and quit it.
Oh, and she got hit hard by Chronic on turn number 4, forced to call it off with wait for the jam ref.
Oh.
No points.
No points.
So they got the lead but couldn't use it. That was their first lead in 5 jams. Still 2 on the track for each team. Enraged and Rebel Rocket out there now in the green against Candy Bar and Lexicon. Sneaky D jamming against Tyrannosaurus Rex. Too small in stature, but very quick jammers. And it looks like T-Rex is going to get the jump, and she is on the outside. She is your lead jammer.
Sneaky D looking for some help from those girls in green, and she gets it. She is out of the pack and hot on the tail of T-Rex.
And now let's see if T-Rex has the speed to make anything of this. Sneaky D, I have a feeling, is going to spend a year chasing jammers down when she is not lead. Unbelievable speed. A nice job, though, by Tyrannosaurus Rex to sneak through and pick up that 1 point before she called it off.
Yep.
Oh, never mind.
No points.
No
Robert
points.
held her.
Oh.
Robert Blind doing a great job holding her back, hoping for Sneaky D to steal some, but that was 0-0 on that pass.
I thought, from my angle, it looked like she had her hips over, but we're pretty far away from turn number 1, and the angles on a derby track can be misleading. Lumberjack Flash out there now in the leopard print against Chevy Chaser for the Chicks.
Doing a little blocking off that line, hoping to hold her back, and it looks like she did a good job. Chevy Chaser stuck behind Santa Muerta, which is not a favorable place to be. I believe that's R2-D2 going smacking R2-D2. You know, her helmet. It's misleading. R2 Smack You is in the penalty box for the Chicks Ahoy.
Lumberjack Flash, LBF, coming around now and trying to split up Bigley Smalls, and Robert Blind does it, picks up 3 points to pad the Gore lead.
Chicks quickly advance to that line.
10 minutes to go. We've got ourselves a game. 20 points is the difference. Lexicon out there now to jam against Hyena Coffin Cat. A Rebel Rocket pivoting for the Chicks. 3-3. Gore's pivot in the box. Lexicon hits the wall on the outside. Hyena Coffin Cat fakes in, then comes out. Looks to get around Machete Maiden. Now sees an opening on the inside. Can she get through? Lexicon with a nice defensive hit, and she takes lead jam. Lexicon making it work for herself.
Full deck at the back, throwing the Chicks jammer all the way back.
Oh, a nice work by Hyena Coffin Cat to sneak her way through that wall as they were shifting onto offense to help Lexi score. Lexi sees a hole, gets hit hard on the hip from a Rebel Rocket, forcing that, but she'd already picked up her 4 points. So Chicks maintaining that lead, 24 points now.
Heavy Knitter back on the line with the star against T-Rex for the Gores.
And yeah.
Some strong lines there. Looks like we've got Santa Muerta and Bigley Smalls pivoting.
T-Rex once again out front first. Beaver Mansbridge providing some offense. She's going to have to sneak past Tess on the inside. Can't. Goes outside, finds Bigley Smalls blocking that way. Meanwhile, the Chicks holding the back as well, but Tyrannosaurus Rex is through, and she's your lead jammer. Chicks trying to work some offense to free their jammer Heavy Knitter at the back of the pack.
She finally makes it past victory lap. Oh, huge hit by Bigley on T-Rex.
T-Rex right back up and back in it. That is her trademark. Takes those big hits. Now, a little slow, though, on the call-off, and that's allowing Heavy Knitter to sneak through. She's going to steal. Let's see what it ends up as on that pass. 3-3.
Nice.
71-47 now, 7:38 to go. As we mentioned, it's a full house here. If you found this secret stream, stick around. We're going to be also streaming a Toronto Junior Roller Derby game after this, taking on Alliston. The first boutcast of, not the first, but first of the season for the Toronto Junior RollerGirls Roller Derby team. All right, back underway here. Sneaky D on the line for the Chicks Ahoy, number 21. She is out there against R.I. Pink, who's having a hard time with Machete Maiden and Rosemary's Rabies.
Chicks are just leaving their jammer to fight for her own, and it was worth it.
Lead jammer for Sneaky D. Boy, the Chicks needed that. They stopping a run of 4 straight lead jammer statuses for the Gores. R.I. Pink is through, but Sneaky D already picking up points. And she considered there for a moment, trying to chase her down. At the end of that jam, the Gores pivot candy bar being sent off, so there'll only be 2 Gores on the track to start this jam.
Yeah, that's Machu Picchu. Ended up in the box earlier in that jam.
Sneaky D picks up her 5. It's still a 20-point game.
Gore's putting out one of their strongest, Lexicon with the star.
And Chevy Chaser with the star. 2 members of the Bay Street Bruisers. Chevy Chaser quickly up to the front and now fighting full deck in Beaver Mansbridge on turn number 1 as all 4 Chicks hold Lexicon at the back. And Chevy Chaser able to break it through. She is your lead jammer. 2 in a row now for the Chicks. As Bigley Smalls head back to the penalty box, she's going to have to watch it.
Lexi is out of that pack, and she's coming up.
That may be the 3rd trip to the box for number 1017. Very quickly, Chevy Chaser back around, and once again facing that 2-wall. Jukes inside, comes out, tries to pick up 1. She'll get 3 if she does, and she does get all 3 points. So the Chicks finally getting under that 20-point difference.
Putting Heine Coffin Cat in the star against number 13, Lumberjack Flash for the Gore RollerGirls.
This has been the biggest run in almost 15 minutes of lead for the Chicks. Let's see if they can keep it up. Both jammers kind of testing each other. Oh, and who got through first? It is Lumberjack Flash.
By a hair. Oh, and she's going to try to feed her back to the pack. Jammer against jammer.
Nice job coming through in the first straightaway. The pack also messing it up on turn number 1. Chicks kind of keeping the Gores between them as they wait to see what's going to happen with this jammer battle. Finally, the Chicks decide to try and take the front, speed this up, buy their jammer some time. Rebel Rocket is at the back of the pack. Candy Bar has come back on the track for the Gores, so good penalty killing for the Gores now as they have all 4 of their blockers on there. They're trying to hold Rebel Rocket back. Lumberjack Flash not done playing yet, finally forced to call it off as Santa Muerte was exposed as a potential point and steal. Nothing doing on that one. 71-54 is the score, 4 minutes to go.
Whatever gets your team on the track, really.
That's right.
Especially when you've got a lead there.
And it is the Chicks clock, although this is a tenuous lead at best. We've already had a 20 and a 24-point jam this game. Heavy Knitter back on the line for the Chicks against T-Rex for the Gores. And Heavy Knitter on the outside is your lead jammer.
T-Rex trying to do that token out and back in, and she is stopped. She's still stuck in that pack.
T-Rex, a very agile skater. She has a history in martial arts, and you can see that on the track, the way she's a very jukey jammer. Having a hard time, though, with R2 Smack You and Bigley Smalls right now. Smack You in her 2nd year with the Chicks. Bigley Smalls, one of the key veterans on this team now, doing a great job defensively. Oh, but a back block major being called on Heavy Knitter, negating her lead status. Power jam. But T-Rex is still on her first pass, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is up to the Chicks to slow her down. Oh, direction of play on Bigley Small. She's going to the penalty box.
Trying to see her. Oh, that is just her. Sorry, that's her third penalty now for Bigley Smalls. 7 penalties will have you expelled from this game, or you'll foul out. Chronic now trying to work Hoff and hold her in the back of the pack, keeping this pack slowed. Chicks, though, do have a nice little setup at the front of the pack. Chronic sweeps from the inside. T-Rex, unfortunately, was going that way as well, and she gets knocked out. Able to sneak back in, though. Picks up 5 points as Robert Blind heads to the penalty box.
Lexi doing a great job pushing those blockers from that inside line, giving some space for Lexi, or for T-Rex. And Heavy Knitter back out of the penalty box. That was a fast minute.
15 points, though, picked up for Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh, and another pass, excuse me, 5 more points. That's going to be 20 points now for Tyrannosaurus Rex on this jam. And blowing it open with under 2 minutes to go in the first half, 91-54. Biggest lead of the game for the Gores. And Tyrannosaurus Rex picking up right where she left off last year. Lumberjack Flash against Sneaky D. A great battle of rookies we've seen all night. Machu Picchu and working with Beaver and Candy Bar at the back of the pack, but Rosemary's Rabies.
Amazing job.
And drawing, and Lumberjack Flash going right into Rabies hard. And a high block being called on Lumberjack Flash. Nice job by Rabies sacrificing the body for that penalty.
And the Chicks have their lead jam. This is the skater you want on a power jam. That's Sneaky D.
We are going to go to the jam clock. There's only 40 seconds left in the game clock, unless the Chicks call it off, and I doubt that. We are going to go. They're going to try and take as much as they can out of this power jam. Try and narrow this gap going into halftime. Chicks playing some passive offense. Bigley Smalls coming in to sweep a path. She does. Sneaky D with 1 to beat. Candy Bar beats her on turn 3. 5 more points for the Chicks. Making it a game as we head to halftime. 1 minute to go in this jam.
Once again, awesome sweep by Bigley Smalls.
It's all about timing, but Bigley Smalls is going to take a penalty on that one. Didn't see the call, but she's going to head to the box their 4th trip of the half. She's going to have to be careful. Sneaky D now coming up against full deck at turn number 4. Takes a hit, stays inbounds, able to get through. Will get all 5. Unbelievable jam so far. 20 points for Sneaky D. And she calls it off. 25-point jam.
And that's the way to end the half. Chicks Ahoy sitting with 82 points against Gore's 91.
Unbelievable comeback, and it was power jams. They did account for the big swings and momentum in that half, and we have now got ourselves a 9-point game. Unbelievable start to the season. We had some questions about what these Chicks would be able to bring, and they've shown us they've got a lot to bring.
Both teams have a lot to bring.
I think it's safe to say that the rebuild is over and the Chicks Ahoy are back. They do, though, still have some ground to make up, and we'll have to watch the penalties as we head into the second half. We're going to take a brief break here for the Tour TV crew. I'm the Derby Nerd.
And I'm Monichrome.
We'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half.
And I was always like, after we did
Okay, I think we are back. That was the ref whistle calling skaters back to their benches. Looks like we're gonna do one last equipment check after the half. Make sure everybody's got their mouth guards and wrist guards and all that good protective gear on.
We have heard that there are some of you out there who found our secret boutcast. Again, congratulations. You've won the prizes. You get to watch this. Just a couple of reminders. If you are just coming in, tuning into this boutcast now, if word is starting to get out, this is a DVR setup. So you can actually start the game from the beginning, and you won't miss anything. It'll just carry on right through, pretend you're watching it live. Also, you can jump up to a higher resolution feed as well. So you can follow the instructions to do that. Hopefully this is just a sign of things to come for Tord TV this season. We've got a lot of big plans, and it seems to be working out. A little bit of an update at halftime from that. Our leading scorer at half is actually Hyena Coffin Cat, one of our rookies. Picked up 35 points for the Chicks. All on the power of 2 jams, though. She had a 20-pointer and a 15-pointer that accounted for all of those points. Leading the way for the Gores is Tyrannosaurus Rex with 29 points, which includes that 20-point power jam that she managed. Right behind her, though, is Lexicon with 28. They were the 2 leading scorers last year.
Yep.
Rookies doing a lot for the Chicks. 34 points for Sneaky D on the power of 1 25-point jam as well. All right, we're ready to get underway here in the second half. 4-3 pack advantage for the Gores. Lexicon in the leopard print, number 25, against that leading scorer, Hyena Coffin Cat, for the Chicks. Lexi inside, Hyena outside, Chronic hitting her in, and now Santa Muerta going one-on-one. The back of the pack, and that allows Lexicon to get through Robert Blind and Tess Derby both the front. She's your lead jammer. First blood in the second half goes to the Gores.
Oh, and they're working hard for it.
Hyena Coffin Cat trying to power her way through Chronic and not having any luck on that inside. Now Beaver Mansbridge back to help out. And Lexicon, as we're talking, gets through, pushes past Robert Blind on the second straightaway for 5 points on the natural grand slam.
Huge hit by Santa Muerta. Chicks still yet to break out of this pack.
Hyena Coffin Cat went for an apex jump, but the veteran Candy Bar was having none of that and put her to the track on the inside. And Lexi makes another few nice moves past Rebel Rocket on the first straightaway for another 5-point pickup. The Gore is really getting things off to a big start here in the second half. Oh, and Santa Muerta with a big hip check on Hyena Coffin Cat, knocking her to the track. The rookie transfer from Terminal City getting her licks in tonight. Welcome to Tord, says Santa Muerta.
This pack is pretty stretched out. I'm not sure that the refs really defined where that is. Oh, and Hyena has a track cut major. She is going to the penalty box.
Oh, and that frustration setting in. She tried to sneak through on the second pass on the inside, and her skate went out. She is in the penalty box. This has turned into a power jam, and Lexicon makes a nice little move with the help of Santa Muerta around Tess Derby. While the back of the pack comes in to face Rebel Rocket, who gets knocked to the inside. Rebel doing a good job of holding that inside line. One-on-one Tess Derbyville going at the back of the pack against Lexicon. Lexicon can't get by her. Nice defense from the veteran, forcing the call off. This will carry over into a power start then for the Gores. Nice job from the veteran Chicks pack to hold off Lexicon there. But boy, she scored a lot of points. 10 points on the, or 15 points on the board. 106-82 now is the lead.
Chicks, despite having the bench advantage closest to this line, they seem to be taking the front.
Yeah, they don't mind it out there, maybe. Something's
maybe
working
there's
for them.
some control.
Oh, Lumberjack Flash looked like she had that outside line, but Bigley Smalls with a big hit. Tried to drag her all the way back, and it looked like Tess Derbyville did sneak back and is going to pull her back. Lumberjack Flash having to re-enter way behind. Nice job to kill time on this power jam. Time is not on their side.
Chicks doing a great job pairing up, trying to stay together and keep this jammer back.
Hoff doing a nice job holding the inside now. Bigley Smalls going one-on-one and can only hold her for so long. Lead jammer finally, but the penalty has been killed. Hyena Coffin Cat back on the track.
And back in the penalty box. She stood up while in bounds. Unfortunately,
Ouch.
calling a cut.
So Hyena Coffin Cat on the track. So power jams back to back now for the Gores. And this is not after the Chicks made such a push at the end of that first half to get within 9 points, now running into trouble. But Hoff doing a nice job on this power kill, working well with Robert Blind and Bigley Smalls, the experienced Chicks Ahoy's lineup. Can only hold it for so long. Hoff comes in for a big hit. LBF, Lumberjack Flash. Sorry. Shakes that off. Picks up her 5 and is coming around for another scoring pass on a dead pack on the second straightaway. Machu Picchu goes in for a sweep. Nice front pack defense from the Chicks, keeping it going. Hoff again doing well to hold that inside, forcing the call off from Lumberjack. It's hard to shorten her name.
Yeah. Flash?
Yeah, a Flash. There we go.
Let's just do Flash.
That's a good one. Only 5 points. Sorry. 7 points for Flash on that one. 113 to 82. Gore RollerGirls building back that 20-point lead, 20-plus point lead now. Looks like an official review being called, perhaps from the Chicks bench. Any idea what you think that would be? I didn't. Maybe
I
on
don't know.
the maybe on the second penalty.
Perhaps. Maybe their vantage point was such that they didn't feel she deserved that that penalty, but I think it looks like it's being explained, and Robert seems to be agreeing with that.
The blocker penalty box is empty. Hyena Coffin Cat serving her second of back-to-back penalties, though, right now. For the Chicks, it's going to be 4-on-4 in the pack for Guardian Pangel, another one of our rookie transfers, rookie with an asterisk. She did complete her fresh meat training in Terminal City in Vancouver. Another one of the big leagues in Canadian roller derby. And this will be her first jam in Tord. She's talking to Candy Bar, the pivot. Longtime veteran. She's been in derby so long, she's been in derby longer than Tord has existed, Candy Bar.
It's true. Longer than me, even.
Yes, longer than Monichrome. You can hear the crowd, and you're seeing the crowd on your monitor. It's a full house, as we said, at the bunker. Phenomenal atmosphere here for the 2014 season opener, the 8th season of Toronto Roller Derby history. One of the oldest, part of the first wave of Canadian roller derby back in 2006. Opened the doors to the public in 2007, along with Hammer City, Montreal, and Oil City, and Ottawa, and Edmonton.
And as you said, Candy Bar was at the forefront of that as the proprietor of Rollerbug.
That's right.
And now Cardinal Skate Shop.
All right, we're underway now. Power start for the Gores. Guardian Pangel pushing into that back wall, able to split it nicely. Joss Whelan trying to hold her back. Rosemary's Rabies comes in for support, but they cannot keep her. Lead jammer to Guardian Pangel. And let's see what she can do in the power jam. M Rage being held back nicely by Candy Bar now. Oh, a collision at the back of the pack between the Chicks blockers and the jammer. Bodies flying all over the place. Gamma Ray went down hard. M Rage heading to the penalty box. Hyena Coffin Cat, after all of that, is back on the track. Pangel picks up 5 for the Gores. Bench telling her to call it off. Pangel, does she do it in time? I don't think so. No. I think there's going to be a couple points. All four.
All four.
Nice job.
Nice steal by Coffin Cat.
So 5-4 will be the score on that jam. Nice pickup for the Chicks' leading scorer, the rookie transfer. Chicks, they're running into some penalty troubles. Bigley Smalls and Robert Blind are the lone 2 blockers on the track, and Bigley Smalls is sitting on 4 penalties. Robert Blind sitting on 3. So they're going to have to watch it. Those are 2 key cogs in this Chicks Ahoy machine. On the Gores, we do have some penalty troubles as well. Machu Picchu has 4 penalties, and Santa Marta has 3, so a lot of the key blockers for both teams in penalty trouble. Sneaky D's going to be back on the line for the Chicks Ahoy when this timeout ends. The Chicks are down to 1 timeout remaining. The Gore RollerGirls have yet to use one, and the Chicks Ahoy have already used their official review this half as well, so trying to reel this game in early in the second half has cost them a lot of their timeouts and reviews.
Well, you use them when you need them.
That's right.
Hopefully they won't need one at the end of the battle.
So the Gore's jammer is starting in the penalty box. I didn't see what happened at the end of that jam.
Oh, but that was a timeout well spent.
Yeah. So a power jam then for the speedy Sneaky D. She had 34 first half points, including a 25-point power jam. And it looks like Bigley and Robber are going to let her go, but Santa Muerta knocks her to the outside, forcing Sneaky D to come in the back of the pack. All 4 Gores on the track.
And she did get a penalty for that. I believe she was holding and using her own players to keep herself up.
Sneaky D does pick up the lead jammer. Santa Muerta heads to the penalty box. So Chicks now once again trying to claw their way out of a hole, but a big opportunity here. Oh, and a nice inside-out deke from Sneaky D to split up that wall and allow her to get through. Miss Kitty LePeur out there on the track on this penalty kill. She spent a lot of the time last season on the injured reserve list. It's great to see her back. Lays a hit into Sneaky D, takes her down to her knees. Bigley Smalls tried to breaking up this wall now, and it's allowing Sneaky D to get through. Take one on Machu Picchu 101, 5 more points for the Chicks.
Bigley and Robber are showing their experience here and telling her to call it, and she does. Scooped up another 4 points.
Nice job from Sneaky D, 99 now. 122.99. 13 points picked up for Sneaky D to get the Chicks back within reach. 7 minutes into the second half.
But Chevy Chaser jamming for the Chicks Ahoy.
Lexicon.
And Lexicon taking a very low profile, making it hard for me to see who she is.
4 3-pack advantage for the Chicks. They are holding Lexi at the back, and that's going to allow Chevy Chaser to get up to the front and try and work through this wall.
And working she is.
Machete Maiden doing a nice job of holding Lexi back. Lexi finally breaks through, but it's Chevy Chaser who's your lead jammer. Just a step or two ahead of Lexi, and she's going to call it off. Let's reset that.
Both teams fast to hit this track again. T-Rex jamming for the Gore RollerGirls. And that is Heavy Knitter with the star for the Chicks Ahoy in green.
Heavy Knitter at 7 points in the first half. Tyrannosaurus Rex at 29 for the Gores. 4 3-pack advantage remains for the Chicks, and now they're starting to take the back of the line. Especially, I guess, with the pack advantage, it's smart for them to do so. And you immediately see Heavy Knitter pushing through the front of that pack, able to push through on the inside. Lead jammer for the Chicks, 3rd jam in a row.
And if you saw that flash of leopard print, that was Santa Muerta leaving the penalty box and cutting right in there, trying to break up the walls for T-Rex.
Having a nice battle with Tess Derbyville at the back of that pack. Oh, and Tess drawing Santa out. Able to sneak through on the inside.
That was a natural grand slam. T-Rex yet to leave this pack, and Heavy Knitter coming around for her 2nd point-scoring pass.
T-Rex still having all sorts of trouble getting by that wall. Finally slips by Tess Derbyville only to find Bigley Smalls. Bigley can't stay on her feet. Rexy's through.
Chicks re-engaging with this pack, trying to get their jammer through for more points. They're running out of time here. T-Rex is gaining on him, but she manages to scoop up 3 points.
Smart call off by Heavy Knitter in amongst all that action. 107 now. They are getting closer. Chicks on a little bit of a run now.
Definitely see that energy and that positive focus back on that bench.
21-0 over the last 4 jams for the Chicks as they again found themselves digging a hole, but are trying to get back out of it. Guardian Pangel back on the line for the Gores. Manages to sneak around Rosemary's Rabies. Hyena Coffin Cat for the Chicks is having some trouble, and it's Guardian Pangel picking up the lead again.
Rebel Rocket being sent to the penalty box. I didn't see that call. Oh. And Heine is being sent to the penalty box as well.
Looks like that's a low block being called on Hyena Coffin Cat at the end of that jam. So the Gores managing to pick up 3, most importantly, managing to pick up a power jam. This is their 3rd already of this half. The Chicks have had 1. And we've seen that's been the difference so far in the score.
All game, really. It's been down to power jams.
And I get a feeling that it's going to be the same here.
Chicks re-strategizing their bench here.
Official review being called. Yeah, official review. Not official review, official timeout.
Yes.
This is also a practice boatcast for the boatcasters.
It's been a while since we've had to talk into a microphone.
Well, I'd be lying if I said that. I did call a game last weekend.
Okay. Well, I don't know what your excuse is then. My excuse
I don't have one. All right. Tara Part just turned around. She's feeling the pressure of this game.
She said it's a real pressure cooker out there. And she couldn't be more right. Only 18 points now separating these two teams with 19 and a half minutes left in the bout.
And once again, Hyena Coffin Cap will start in the box. Power start for the Gores. They started this off. Hyena Coffin Cap running into some penalty. She had such a strong first half, running into penalty troubles here. This is her third penalty as a jammer in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Lexicon, last year's leading scorer, one of the rare jammers to ever score 200 points in a single toward season. She did it last year. 6 points per jam, unbelievable stats. And of course that 76% lead percentage. And Lexicon now tries to shake through on the inside. Robert Blind and Bigley Smalls last line of defense. They can only hold her so long. She's your lead jammer.
R2 Smack-You at the back of the pack, waiting for her, hoping for a hit. Unfortunately, she doesn't get it. But Bigley takes care of it.
Bigley Smalls, nice game. Machu Picchu having a great game too. R2 Smack-You very intelligently delaying her re-entry onto the track, forcing that no pack. So they couldn't trap her, unfortunately.
Because she wasn't on the track to trap.
Lexicon, though, did manage to get through.
Oh.
Another nice move there on Bigley Smalls. Only 2 blockers on the track for the Chicks as Robert Blind heads back to the penalty box. Lexicon racking up the points here in this power jam. She's got 10 coming through in another pass.
And this seems to be her favorite corner. She does a really good job of edging up to the outside, back onto the in, just doing this beautiful S-curve on that first turn.
Penalty troubles mounting for the Chicks now. Only 2 blockers on the track. Having a hard time holding Lexicon. She was looking for 4th scoring pass. Out of nowhere, here comes Hyena Coffin Cat. Bursting through that pack, being chased wildly by Santa Muerta.
Well, luckily, she didn't touch her.
Santa Muerta leaves it all on the track every jam. So a big pickup, 19 points for Lexicon to extend the Gore RollerGirls lead to 144 to 107. A Lumberjack Flash on the line now against Sneaky D. These two rookies reigniting what has been a great battle all night. And a 4-2 pack advantage remains for the Gores. Rabies Bigley all alone on the track. Neither jammer
Jammer's
moving.
not sure if that was the actual whistle, but it was.
That was a good little delay for the Chicks, though, as they are trying to kill some penalties. Nice work by Rabies and Bigley to pull Lumberjack Flash to the back of the pack, allowing Sneaky D to get through the 4-wall and take lead jammer despite those odds.
Another beautiful hit by Bigley, forcing Lumberjack Flash way back to the back. She's now stuck behind Rabies.
Nice work, though, by the Gores as well. Miss Kitty Lepeur drawing Sneaky D to the back as Rebel Rocket comes back on the track into the penalty box. Rabies having a nice game of it so far. The interesting story with Rosemary's Rabies in her second year in Tord has really made a transition from jammer to blocker, and it seems to be a good one for her. She's doing very well out there. A few points picked up there for Sneaky D. 144 to 111 now is the score. 33 points around the biggest lead or so of the game for the Chicks, or for the Gores. Chevy Chaser out there against Guardian Pangel. Guardian Pangel getting a lot of track time at the start in the second half after playing only in the pack in the first. Machu Picchu, another rookie, trying to lead her through. Oh, and just the last minute hit from Enraged. All that's stopping her. Beaver Yep.
Chevy Chaser being stuck in the back by Santa Muerta. Both jammers having a hard time of it. But it is the Gores out in front with lead jam once again.
Guardian Angel picking up lead jammer every time she's been out there. 3 for 3. She also has 1 penalty, though. Chevy Chaser finally through as Guardian Angel already on her scoring pass. Coming around turn 4. Enraged holding her off, but 3 Gores wrap her up. And Angel at least going to get 2 out of this. And that's it.
None for the Chicks. And both teams trying to hit that line as fast as possible, and the Gores win it.
Heavy Knitter will be back out there against Lumberjack Flash. Lumberjack getting a break from Sneaky D, who she's had to face off against all night. This is I think they're probably more of a similar matchup between Heavy Knitter and Lumberjack Flash. Similar physical builds, speed.
And just driving force. Both seem to push their way through the pack.
And it's Heavy Knitter pushing through a 4-wall. Lumberjack with the advantage of only having 3. And that last one is Joss Whelan's got to let her go. Gores pick up their 2nd straight lead.
See a penalty being called. Let's see who it's on.
It's a cut. Oh, and it is on Heavy Knitter.
Candy Bar also going to the penalty box for the Gores. But it's not going to do nearly as much damage as the Chicks being without a jammer this round.
5 points already picked up for Lumberjack Flash. Coming through in her 2nd. And speaking of powered, I thought she'd powered her way through. I was going to say, that would have been amazing, but...
Yep. Nope, she got a cut, which is going to release the Chicks jammer.
Some of the crowd booing, but from here it looked like a cut. Again, strange angles, but... victory lap with a nice hit on Heavy Knitter, dragging her all the way to the back. Chronic for support. They'll have a 2-wall to set up here as the Chicks are on a brief power jam. Heavy Knitter taking a pounding from Victory Lap and Chronic at the back of the pack as the Chicks try and forward trap Gamma Ray, doing a nice job trying to cause a no-pack, but Gamma just able to slow them down at the front enough.
Lumberjack was back on the track, only having to serve that fraction of a penalty, and no one saw her rejoin.
And, of course, no lead now since both jammers have been on the penalty box. There's 25 seconds remaining in this one. And Lumberjack just picking up the points as Gamma Ray takes her turn, dragging Heavy Knitter all the way to the back. And Lumberjack Flash getting in on the defense as she powers her way through turn number 3, taking out the jammer and breaking through the shot of the R2 Smack You Bigly Smalls Wall. 5 more points. Lumberjack Flash blowing this game wide open with a 21-point jam. None in that full 2 minutes for the Chicks Ahoy, which included a 20-second power jam. Unbelievable pack work from the Gores. And the Gores have had a pack advantage almost this whole half. And they're still have a 4-2 pack advantage, so the Chicks are going to have to watch their penalty trouble. Machete and Rebel, the lone blockers on the track in green. Santa Muerta bridging nicely. Lexicon faces that 2-wall, pushes, push, trying to push them out of play. Finds a hole on the outside. She's your lead jammer. Aina Coffin Cat having a hard time now, able to sneak through. Santa Muerta was being sent off on a penalty.
And Lexi doing a little jump around those 2 green blockers. Picks up her 4 and hits it and quits it.
12 minutes to go. Gores in as much control as any team has been in this game so far, with a pretty substantial 58-point lead, 12 minutes remaining. The Gores finished 2nd in the regular season last year, only to lose in the playoffs to the Smoke City Betties. The Chicks, of course, finished last for the first time ever. Sneaky D picks up a lead jammer for the Chicks. First time Guardian Angel has failed to establish a lead status. Nice work by the Chicks to hold her back. Hoff, Robert Blind out there. Candy Bar unable to hold the speedy Sneaky D, who gets through, picks up her 4 and calls it off.
Looks like the Chicks are picking up their momentum again.
That was
Little
4 jams in a
inches.
row without scoring, so
Yeah.
yeah, they needed that.
Rebel Rocket pivoting for the Chicks Ahoy. And that's Chevy Chaser jamming for the Chicks. Lexicon with the star for the Gores. No pivot on the track for the Gore RollerGirls.
And now it's finally the Gores getting into some penalty troubles. Miss Kitty Lepeur and Chronic, the only two out there, doing a nice job holding back Chevy for as long as they could. Was it long enough? It was long enough to allow Lexicon to sneak through and take lead jammer despite the big pack disadvantage, and she's going to call it off. No points on the board for either team. Nice work, though, by Chronic and Miss Kitty all alone out there. A bit of a dynamic duo. Chicks still have 3 on the track. No, it looks like the Chicks do have all 4 skaters on the track now. 4-2 pack advantage. Lumberjack Flash trying to push through on the outside, runs into Bigley Smalls and Robert Blind, who hold her nicely, but on the inside, Heavy Knitter not having any luck either. Finally, Lumberjack Flash breaking through to take not your lead jammer, though. She had a no pass, no penalty, and that allows Heavy Knitter to take lead, and she's about 30 feet back. She may want to call it off as the bench is imploring her to do. I don't even think she knows she's lead. She just realized it. 2 straight no scoring jams in this one. That's going to favor the Gores. As the clock is on their side, we are now under 10 to go. It's been a tale of 2 halves for Hyena Coffin Cat. She was unstoppable in the first half, has run into some penalty problems here. She's facing off against Lexicon.
That low profile, she does gets knocked to her knees, but I believe that was Enraged.
And that allowed Hyena Coffin Cat to get through on the outside, take lead jammer.
So she may be changing the story of this half.
That's right. Maybe she heard us talking about her and decided, oh, I better pick up some points here. And she is rushing through a very spread pack. Sees Chronic lining up for a hit, decides to call it off and avoid that particular punishment. 3 points picked up for Hyena Coffin Cat. Still quite a hole for the Chicks to get out of. They ended the first half hard. They'll have to end this half just as hard.
They do have Sneaky D out there with the star.
And against Guardian Pangel, she's really taken over jamming in this second half.
Well, Sneaky D trying to give her trouble, and unfortunately she gave herself a little too much work.
Nice work on the inside from Candy Bar to free up Guardian Pangel, who is your lead jammer now. Sneaky D going one-on-one in the second straightaway. Santa Muerte gets knocked down. Candy Bar recycles to the front for some help. Machu Picchu is bridging them, but Sneaky D able to weasel her way through. Guardian Pangel, though, already coming around to score. The Chicks pack is split up. She's got Bigley to beat. Trying to get that last point. She does. And Bigley Smalls being sent off for hitting out of bounds. And it looks like the Gores are going to let this jam go.
Interesting.
Maybe looking at that big lead, looking at the clock. Pangel tries to sneak through as that jam comes to its natural conclusion. 3 more points on the board for Pangel.
And that's a testament to trusting your blockers to do the right thing. They were able to hold Sneaky D long enough for the Gores to pick up those 4 points.
And that's what I was worried about. 4 penalties in the first half. 3 quickly picked up. The Chicks are now without Bigley Smalls as she fouls out of this game. That's a big loss for the Chicks. She's been one of their top blockers all game. So big loss for the Chicks. They're going to have to deal with that and deal with this. Oh, nice re-entry from Chevy Chaser. The Lumberjack Flash is your lead jammer. As Chevy Chaser finally able to get through. The Gores keeping this pack slow. And now following their jammer through to that 2 wall of Chicks. Flash calls it off after she picks up her 4.
Gore is still just making some space, keeping it comfy. They're leading the Chicks Ahoy now 180 to 121. Just over 6 minutes left in this bout.
Heavy Knitter out there to jam against Lexicon. Only 2 Chicks on the track. Machu Picchu very quickly pushes them to the inside, allowing Lexi to sneak out on the outside. Robert Blind did her best to hold her back as long as she could, but they've got to switch to offense because Heavy Knitter being held by a 4-wall of Gores, including Machu Picchu's having a breakout game. The rookie transfer from Halifax. Oh, and Lexicon threw easy for a big grand slam. Beaver Mansbridge and Victory Lap taking turns with Heavy Knitter as Hoff tries to come through to provide some offense. Machu Picchu facing the wrong way now, leading that Gore's wall. On another scoring pass, Lexicon sneaks through again on the outside without getting hit. Robert Blind headed to the penalty box. Gore Chicks in some big penalty troubles. Heavy Knitter just not able to find any room. R2 Smack-You briefly opened up a hole, but it closed quickly. Machu Picchu with a big hit. Drawing the Chicks jammer back.
Meanwhile, Lexi just gliding around like this is a speed skating race.
Lexicon has 15 points so far, all natural. Finally, the Chicks getting into some defense. Rabies and Hoff holding her. Lexicon sneaks through on the inside. 5 more points. It's a 20-point jam now as the Gore RollerGirls try and put this one away. We are under 5 minutes to go.
Heavy Knitter past that panty, and now it is R2 Smack-You with the jammer star for the Chicks Ahoy. She's now on her point scoring pass, and Lexi does call it off before the Chicks can pick up any points.
Smart pass did stem the flow. 22 points, though, picked up for Lexicon when it was all said and done. Coming through again, the second-year skater, number 25 in the leopard print. Seeing Guardian Pangel back out there, I was saying they seem to have traded off Guardian Pangel for Lexicon in the second half. Maybe the Gore is trying out some new jammers. Lexi, of course, in the pack. Pangel, once again, she loves that inside. Couldn't quite sneak past M. Rage, though. Good work from Gamma Ray at the back, holding Hyena Coffin Cat. Neither jammer able to get through and Coffin Cat finally getting through that mess on turn number 2 to take your lead jammer.
What a mess it was. Oh, just narrowly, and she was smart to actually crawl back to the inside track.
Nice hit from Machete Maiden of the Chicks to hold her there. Gamma Ray trying to do the same to Hyena Coffin Cat. Heine, though, able to shrug off that hit and pick up the grand slam.
Rebel Rocket doing a great job of holding her back. But Coffin Cat stuck behind Gamma Ray.
Chicks again trying to mount a late push. 2:02:126, just under 3 minutes to go now.
Both jammers fighting for every point here with just about 2¼ minutes left.
Another grand slam for Coffin Cat. That's 10 points now. As the Chicks, do they have life in them yet? Guardian Pangel just having all she can handle from Robert Blind. Machete Maiden, Rebel Rocket doing a nice job of just staying at that front of the pack, staying in front of that jammer, and staying together as Coffin Cat comes around for yet another pass. To be her third scoring pass. Pangel finally through, but so is Coffin Cat, and she's going to call it off. A nice jam from the Chicks Ahoy. Will it just be a matter of too little, too late, though, as they still are down by 67 points? Is that right? I did that math in my head.
Yeah, good job.
Lumberjack Flash and Sneaky D resuming what has been an interesting battle for these two first-year House League skaters.
Timeout. Calling their timeout.
They did have all 3 remaining and still 1 official review. So the story of the second half so far has been power jams. Not so much lately, but within the first 15 minutes, the Gores had 4 power jams to the Chicks 1. And that is why they've been able to build such a gap this half. Also, one of the top Chicks blockers, Bigley Smalls, sent out, fouling out with 7 minutes in the penalty box. That has been a bit of a problem for Bigley Smalls early in her career, but I seem to remember another Chicks Ahoy blocker, Nasha the Smasher, having penalty troubles in her first few seasons as well.
Absolutely.
That obviously turned around for the best.
Well, that's how it starts, right? You end up trying everything and doing everything and working really hard, and yes, you get those penalties early on in your career, but eventually you refine that, and that's where you get into this point where you are leaving it all out on the track rather than actually leaving it in the penalty box.
That's right. Yeah, penalties for Bigley Smalls, a lot of them they're not dumb penalties. They're usually that last effort penalty that maybe she was just a little bit out of play, or maybe her forearm got into that hit just a little too much, and maybe her hip was just a little too low. You know, they're all active penalties, so those are the kind of things that will clear up over time. And it looks like this timeout has turned into an official review. The Gore RollerGirls are using their one official review for the half. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is a test boutcast, so congratulations for finding the secret feed. We will be boutcasting a Toronto Junior Roller Derby game right after this. They'll be playing Alliston, home of the Misfit Militia and the Renegade Derby Dames, WFTA Apprentice League. You are watching the 2014 Toronto Roller Derby season opener. I'm the Derby Nerd, joined by Monichrome. Layer 9 is keeping this boutcast together, and Honey Boom Boom is our producer for the night, as usual. We'd also like to thank our camera staff, who are plentiful and excellent. Junkie Jenny is waving to us right now. Oh, and I think that's Bruceberry Pie on turn number 3.
Oh, it sure is. Yep.
It sure is, yeah.
And who's on 1?
Turn number 1.
Mystery Man on turn 1.
This is the bunker in Downsview Park, home of Toronto Roller Derby. It's going to be a very exciting season. The next action here in the bunker is actually going to be February 8th, when Team Ontario will be facing off against Toronto's CN Power. Bit of a preseason game for CN Power. Of course, they are coming off of an incredibly surprising and successful WFTDA Division 1 season last year, where they knocked off Sacramento and Boston in the playoffs before running into Atlanta. So that'll be an opportunity to see CN Power, their first action of 2014 here on February 8th against Team Ontario. And that's all the Team Ontario skaters who aren't on CN Power.
Right.
But that's going to be a phenomenal roster as well. I think USS Enterprise is coming up from Detroit. She's a member of Team Ontario. A number of skaters, including Hannah Murphy, Margaret Choke, Sister Disaster, coming down from Rideau Valley. So that should be an excellent game coming up at the bunker on February 8th. And we're back on the track here.
That's Lumberjack Flash going toe-to-toe with
Sneaky
one of the chicks.
Sneaky
That
D.
is Sneaky D.
And it's 3-on-3 in the pack. Oh, Lumberjack Flash heading to the penalty box.
So this is Chicks Jam if they can get out of this pack, and Sneaky D is the one to do it. She's coming around with her, what is this now, her 4th lead of the bout?
At least, if not of the half. This is her 4th lead of the half. So a strong game for Sneaky D, and so fast. Oh, a nice little move. Oh, and blows a kiss to Santa Muerta. Santa Muerta, known for being a cheeky one on the track, getting a little there from the rookie. And she is fast, but watch out, Santa will keep that number in mind. And here comes Sneaky D now on a pass. Nice offense from the Chicks, trying to open up a hole. And there is that Santa Muerta getting a little bit of revenge, though. Sneaky D able to shake her off. Machu Picchu to beat. She's through. 5 points picked up for the Chicks. Under a minute to go, though. This may be our last jam of the game. Probably, I guess, at this point, in the best interest of the Chicks. Just
to narrow this gap up.
We have seen a regular season come down to point differential, so it is important. Machu Picchu with the big hit on Sneaky D, and I got to tell you, I'm very excited about the rookies.
Oh, and she's going to put a fresh line out.
They're going to have to call a timeout, though. Does the bench know that? Yes, and Terrapar is just waiting, taking as much time as she can, and now she's calling the timeout. So we will get one more jam in here. Chicks picking up 10 points on that power jam, and they will have a power start. And Chevy Chaser is going to come out on the line to jam what will be the final jam of this game. Talking things over with Enraged and Rebel Rocket. Looks like they'll be the lone Chicks blockers on the track. It'll be a full defensive contingent for the Gores. Oh, and I believe maybe that penalty is over. The Gores will have a jammer on the track.
Guess we didn't call that off soon enough to start this off fresh, but all points are good points.
Actually, there is some discussion about that right now. And Lumberjack Flash is coming out to talk to the captain, Candy Bar, and the coach, Hot Carl. Sent her that track. Oh, yes. And as we suspected, this will be a power start. So Lumberjack Flash heading back to the penalty box. They should just asked us.
It's true.
We could have cleared that up for them.
Yeah.
But defensively, the Gores are in a good standing here. Oh, and more confusion continues as Lumberjack Flash. Oh, that was just the end of her penalty. She just must have had a second or two left.
Oh, but she's being held right back at the back there by Enraged. Meanwhile, Chevy Chase does have lead jammer, and she would be wise to make this a 2-minute jam.
Yeah, Lumberjack Flash is through. Chicks, though, just looking for a last bit of glory in this one. And Chevy Chase, so let's see how the Chicks do play this one. If they let it go, hope for maybe a penalty. Lumberjack Flash, though, coming through and gets by Rebel Rocket to score 4 points cleanly. Chevy Chaser has picked up points. I think she might already have all 4, but she was swallowed again by the pack. Having a hard time with Chronic, and now Candy Bar, finally she's through. As Lumberjack Flash comes over through, and her second scoring pass, and Candy Bar takes out Enraged and is heading to the penalty box. No, she was, sorry. I thought parking lot called a penalty there. He did not.
Chevy sneaking around those Gores at the back, and she gets through pretty cleanly.
So just trading points now. Chicks and Gores in this final jam. Under a minute to go. The game clock is done. We are on the jam clock. Chevy Chaser in complete control here as she has lead status. Rebel Rocket being sent to the penalty box as Lumberjack Flash picks up 4 more points. Chevy Chaser back, takes a hip whip right into a wall of Gores. Stays on her feet. Keeps pushing. Tess Derbyville coming in to supply some offense. R2 Smack You, the pivot, also helping out as Lumberjack Flash coming around in the back of the pack. And finally, Chevy's had enough, calls it off as both jammers pick up 4 more points.
Not quite closing the gap how they wanted, but again, both teams scoring a few more points, which could be the difference at the end of this season.
That's right, and our unofficial final is 218 for the Gore RollerGirls, 157 for the Chicks Ahoy. Strong finish for the Chicks, though, getting lead jammer for the last 3 jams. The Gore RollerGirls, though, kicking 2014 off with a big win and will at least briefly move into the top spot in the Toronto Roller Derby standings. But this is a big turnaround. Remember last season, the final regular season game of the year, the Gores beat the Chicks 323-75. So this Chicks Ahoy's team has come a long way.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're looking at us. This is the Derby Nerd and Monichrome. Again, you've been watching a Tord TV Boutcast. We will be back in about 15 minutes or so for the Toronto Junior Roller Derby's first game of the season as they host Alliston Junior Roller Derby. That should be a very excited one. I've already seen the Toronto Junior Roller Derby roster. If you've never seen Junior Roller Derby, you're going to want to tune in. This will be quite a treat. These skaters may be junior, but in age only, they can play this sport, and it will definitely be an entertaining bout.
Absolutely. And certainly a game changer as these seasons progress. These girls are eventually going to turn 19 and join the big league. So definitely good to watch them now.
That's right. Who is the future of Toronto Roller Derby? Well, I think we're going to call that one a wrap here at the bunker in Downsview Park. Again, on behalf of the Tord TV crew, Layer 9, Honey Boom Boom, our amazing camera operators. It's been a good test run and first secret boutcast of 2014. Stay tuned to Toronto Roller Derby and, of course, layer9.ca for all of your boutcast information as the season goes on. You can definitely tune into Tord TV. You'll hear our voices throughout the year. So for Monichrome and the Tord TV crew, I'm the Derby Nerd. We will see you in about 20 minutes for our junior bout.